Hey guys, it's Summer and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I'll link the original creator and video in the description, and I also just wanted to say before I get into the video that I'm so sorry for the construction noises that are going to be going on throughout this whole thing. They've been working on the road like right outside of our house since like January. So I don't know, it's just constant construction noise, so I'm really sorry. But I also just really wanted to film a video today and they're gonna be going all day, so this is what we're working with. I'm really sorry. I also wanted to say I've only read like 9 books this year so far, so there's not a whole lot of options to pull from for these questions, so there's probably gonna be a lot of repeats. I'm also rethinking my Goodreads goal. Not rethinking, I actually changed it because there's no way I was gonna read 45 books when I've only read 9. So anyway, I'll start doing the tag now. Number 1 is the best book you've read in 2020 so far. Even though I've only read 9 books this year so far, I found some of my new all-time favorite books, so it's really hard to narrow it down to just one. So I won't. I'm just gonna show you my like 3 favorites so far. Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Negan. I still don't know if I'm saying her name right. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And then The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. These were all 5-star reads for me and I just loved everything about them. They're definitely a new favorite book and you're for sure gonna see me mention them later in this video. Question number 2 is the best sequel you've read so far in 2020. I actually have not read a single sequel. I meant to pick up the sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire, but I just didn't for some reason. I bought it, or Travis bought it for me for my birthday, and then I just never picked it up. So I need to get to that one soon because I am really excited to read it. Number 3 is a new release that you want to read but you haven't yet. For this I'm choosing The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. This was my number 1 most anticipated book of 2020 and I went and picked it up a couple days after it was released. Or actually no, it was on release day. The people in Barnes & Noble hadn't even put it out yet. I had to go ask for it and they had to bring it out of the back room and put it on display. I was like really wanting this book. I started reading it the day that I got it. I actually made it about 100 pages in and then stopped because it just was moving kind of slow for me. So I guess this half fits for the question because I've technically already started reading it, but it's a new release and I really would like to pick it up and finish it before 2020 is over. Number 4 is your most anticipated book release for the second half of the year. I haven't been paying very close attention to book releases this year, or last year really when I think about it. I was gonna say the new Hunger Games book, but like that's already out, I'm pretty sure. I think it came out at the beginning of this month. There's this one called All the Bad Apples by Moira Fowley Doyle. It has a stunning cover and it's like contemporary mystery, kind of supernatural, like fantasy-ish. It's about a girl whose sister goes missing and the family thinks that she's dead, so they have a funeral for her. But the sister is like sure that her sister is still alive. And then the sister who's missing starts writing letters saying that their family is cursed or something like that. It sounds really cool and different. And I honestly just want to own this book because the cover is beautiful. So I might pick that up when it comes out later this year. I think it says it comes out August 1st, so not too far away. Number 5 is your biggest disappointment. The main one that was really disappointing was Come Tumbling Down by Seanan McGuire. I fully expected this to be a 5-star read because every other book in this series pretty much has been, but I just really didn't love the adventure that they went on or how many characters there were to keep up with. I just like Seanan McGuire's books where it's about a couple of characters and you're hearing only their story. This was kind of like a sequel to some of the other books that involved like a huge cast of characters that you've already met, and it's just not my favorite type of Seanan McGuire story to read. I am very excited for her next one though because it is one of those more like meeting a new character, experiencing their world with them for the first time kind of a thing. So I'm excited for that, but this one was definitely kind of disappointing. It still was good because it's Seanan McGuire, but it wasn't like a 5-star read like I thought it was going to be. Number 6 is your biggest surprise. I'm picking The Starless Sea, not because I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I just didn't know I was gonna like it this much and like have it stick with me for so long. I didn't know I was gonna just like love her writing so much. Like it just was like, it just took me back how good this book was. Like I already had high expectations for it and then it exceeded those expectations. I should have said when I was showing you like the 3 books at the beginning, this one I think is like my most favorite out of those 3. So I would say this is probably my most favorite of the year so far and I kind of don't see that changing. I feel like there would have to be a really, really good book to kick this out of first place, but I love this. It was a really pleasant surprise. It's just so whimsical and so well written. It was amazing and I had such a fun time reading this book. Number 7 is your favorite new author. And I'm again going to use The Starless Sea. Erin Morgenstern, I've only read one book from her, and she only has 2 books, I think, out. But she's already a new favorite author. Her writing style is so unique from any other one that I've read before. And she was describing so many like really unique things that don't exist in normal day-to-day life that I could just see so vividly in my head because she's so good at describing things. I also really like watching her in author interviews. I feel like I just have a fun time listening to her talk about her process and how she's come up with certain ideas and stuff. So yeah, love her. I'm definitely going to be reading The Night Circus really soon because I just have to. Number 8 is your newest fictional crush. I'm 100% picking Laurie from Little Women because I just love him. He's such a sweetheart. And like, I just can't even handle, I just love him so much. I also just love that they picked Timothée Chalamet to play him in the new adaptation that just came out last year because he's like perfect. Like the whole entire time I was reading this book, I was imagining Timothy as Laurie and it was perfect. Like I feel like they just casted that so well. I honestly didn't love everything they did with the film and how they made Laurie to be in the film, but I just loved Timothy so much that I kind of like just didn't care and was just like there for it because it was Timothy playing Laurie. Like it's my perfect thing. So yeah, he's my new fictional crush. I love him. The next question is your newest favorite character. I honestly kind of just want to say Laurie or just really any of the characters from this book. I loved Mama March, or Marmee March, that's what they call her. I loved her. I thought she was a really sweet mom. But like Laurie was just like there for them and his grandpa was just there for them. All the characters were so wholesome in this book. I really just loved it and I love all the characters. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. This book, again, I was sobbing, crying my fucking eyes out like the whole entire day because I read this during quarantine. So I just had like all day to read. During a certain section of this book, in the middle of it, Travis was like, okay, let's go get dinner and stuff. So we were in the car to go pick up dinner and I was just like, still just like eyes puffy, just thinking so much about these sisters and just being like distraught over what was happening to them. It was a thing. I think this is the most emotional I've been in a book. I think that the next question is a book that made you happy. I was right. And I think I would also pick this book for that too, because even though it was like a really sad book, it really just made me feel genuine joy. I was very happy while I was reading this. Even though it was sad and heavy, it was also like a lighthearted, happy family read. So I don't know, I just associate being happy with this book too, even though it was one of the saddest books I've ever read. I also though kind of have to pick The Starless Sea because I just had so much fun in this world and in this book while I was reading. I just kept thinking multiple times while I was reading like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I love this. I'm having so much fun. So this also made me very happy. Number 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I've not purchased hardly any books this year, which I'm very proud of myself for, but I also haven't purchased a lot of like really beautiful books that have really stuck out to me. I think the main one that does is The Glass Hotel. I really do love this cover. It's so beautiful. I love the colors that are on it. I love that there's this kind of like fogged over island in the middle of it. I really do just like love this, and mainly the colors. I think that the colors are like everything. Number 13 is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I made a video a few months ago about all of my books that I like needed to read in 2020, and I'm getting really nervous about completing that because like I said, I've only read 9 books and there are some really intimidating books on that list. Dune is one of them. I think I'm like a third into that book. I started listening to the audiobook and was just having like a really hard time with it, so I stopped reading it and I'm gonna finish it later. If you watched my Animal Crossing Picks My Next Read video, you'll kind of see that process of me picking Dune up and then setting it down. There's more thoughts on it there. I think The Name of the Wind was on there. I think that Mistborn was on there. A lot of the books are like chunky fantasy books, so I'm very intimidated by them. I know that I'm gonna love them, but like, I'm just scared to actually try to commit to them. I just really don't know if I'm gonna like have the time and energy to like pick those books because I am such a mood-based reader. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I only have this many months left in the year. What if I never feel like picking up Mistborn? And I don't want to force myself to read it because what if that makes me hate it? I don't know. It's a whole thing. I've thought too much about it, but yeah, those are some of the books that I need to pick up in the rest of 2020. A question that I want to add to this is your most favorite relationship in a book so far this year. This relationship in this book is by far one of my most favorite relationships that I've ever read. It was just such a sweet relationship and such a sweet build to their relationship. I felt like the pacing for it was really good. It wasn't too fast or like too slow to where you're kind of like being driven crazy by the angst or anything. I felt like it was perfect timing for everything. It really is just like one of my favorite relationships that I keep thinking about, and I'm so excited to read more about it in the sequel. Like I was saying, I have the sequel and I need to read it. Those were all of my picks for this tag though. Tell me in the comments what your favorite book so far this year is, because I feel like if it's your favorite, I probably need to add it to my TBR. So tell me that in the comments, and yeah, I'll just see you guys in the next video.